Welcome to The Explainer. We're getting right into it today, breaking down a pretty dramatic story, how one of cricket's absolute powerhouses, Australia, is suddenly facing an early exit from the T20 World Cup. It's a huge deal.
And you know what? Let's actually start at the end with this quote from the Australian captain, Mitch Marsh. It's a devastated group. I mean, you can just feel the raw emotion in those words, right? It says everything about where this team is at mentally. Their dreams are pretty much shattered. So the big question is, how on earth did a team this good, one of the best in the world, end up here? How did they get to this point? Well, to figure that out, we've got to rewind and look at one specific, absolutely crucial match against Sri Lanka. This was the game that changed everything. All right, first things first, but let's set the stage for this massive game, because the pressure was on before a single ball was even bowled. So you have to remember, Australia was already under the gun. They were one of the favorites to win the whole thing, but then they had this shock loss to Zimbabwe. That sent a huge ripple through the tournament. So coming into this game against Sri Lanka, it wasn't just another match. It was basically do or die. Lose this, and their fate is no longer in their own hands. And if that wasn't enough pressure, they also had this massive selection headache. You've got Cameron Green, this key all-rounder, but he's just completely out of form. And then you've got Matt Renshaw, who just scored a 50 and is looking good. So what do? It's just another layer of tension piled on top of an already make-or-break situation. Okay, so let's get into the game itself. And honestly, Australia's innings was like watching two completely different teams. It started with an absolute explosion, and then a collapse that's just hard to believe. I mean, Australia came out just on fire. The openers, Travis Head and the captain, Mitch Marsh, they just went ballistic. They put on 104 runs for the first wicket in no time. At that point, you're thinking, okay, they're on for a massive score here. A total over 200 looked like a sure thing. And then it just all fell apart. I mean, with shocking speed. Travis Head goes, then Cameron Green, then the captain Marsh himself. From that amazing start, they lost all 10 wickets for just 77 more runs. It was a complete, mind-blowing collapse. Yeah, this wasn't just hitting the brakes, it was a total meltdown. And you've got to give credit to Sri Lanka's bowlers. Their spinners really turned it on, using that Pallekele pitch perfectly. They managed to bowl Australia out for 181. Now, that's a decent score, but it was nowhere near the huge total it looked like they were going to get. All right, so now the ball is in Sri Lanka's court. They need 182 to win, and get this, that would be their highest ever successful T20 chase on their home turf. So a huge task ahead of them. And for a second, it looked like Australia might have a chance. They got an early wicket, and you're thinking, okay, here we go. But nope. That hope didn't last long. Kusal, Mendis and Pathum Nissanka just launched this incredible counterattack. They put on 97 runs together and completely snatched control of the game away from Australia. And look, while the whole team played well, this chase really belonged to one man. The Guardian called his performance one of the best T20 knocks you could ever wish to see. And that man was Pathum Nissanka. I mean, just look at these numbers. An unbeaten century from only 52 balls. He hit 10 fours, 5 sixes. He was just unstoppable. It was this perfect mix of pure power and just beautiful cricket shots. The Aussie bowlers had absolutely no idea how to stop him. They were just left scratching their heads. And the final scorecard really says it all. In the end, it wasn't even a nail-biter. Sri Lanka chased that score down with 2 whole overs left to play. A totally dominant 8-wicket win that punched their ticket to the next round. So, as Sri Lanka celebrates this huge historic win, what does this crushing defeat actually mean for Australia? What happens now? Let's break it down. And this is where it gets really brutal for Australia. Their chances of going through are now razor thin. First, they have to absolutely thrash Oman in their last game. But even that's not enough. They're now relying on other teams to help them out. And here's the real kicker. If Zimbabwe beats Ireland, that's it. Australia is out. Their World Cup could be over before they even play their final match. Their fate is, for the most part, completely out of their hands. Which brings us right back to where we started with the Australian captain's words. Australia's future is in the lap of the gods now. And that just sums it all up, doesn't it? That feeling of total helplessness. A day that began with so much promise ended in disaster. And now their World Cup dreams are just hanging by a thread, completely at the mercy of other results.